house back then was probably 25 feet by 30 feet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Front was brick, and the other side was just wood, little slats.
It's like
just
paper
laying there. Yeah,
mache. Brick like the art backdrops. It's like a painting of brick.
those are real.
Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I am Matt.
And I'm Jason.
And I got a headache, dude. I didn't even tell you if it was
I don't.
These lights are fucking killing me today.
I did have a dry throat, though.
Yeah.
That rye whiskey we had, another episode, really drive me out.
Yeah, these lights, I feel like we need to go like mood lighting. We've upgraded our audio and our glassware. I think we need to
Get a couch.
Yeah.
Black leather couch we'll sit on.
Maybe just get some black lights and just kind of, and just chill. Get some like circle sunglasses that are like blue sunglasses.
We'll get the Jack Daniels bottles and fill them full with highlighters.
Yes.
Put water in it.
Yeah.
Not that I had that in my college dorm or college apartment. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
And then we're just going to accidentally start raving, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to have a worse headache. But then I guess if we do a bunch of drugs, then we'll be good. But welcome back to the show. We dabbled on your trip, man, and then we talked off camera, and you didn't let on like how much fun you had on this trip. I want to talk a little bit more about.
What have I been doing? I've been in Michigan. So I went to Michigan last weekend. Didn't think I'd be able to go, so last minute kind of decision, worked out great. We're in Michigan for the locals, national beer group. International. Hell, some of us travel internationally.
That's a very confusing statement. The locals, international, the national beer group.
The name of the group is The Locals.
And you guys are national.
We're international, baby.
International.
Some of us travel like Canada or something.
Or the Baja, California.
Same there. Or Breathitt County. But, looking at that, I hadn't seen a lot of these guys in quite a while. There's probably 20, 25 of us up there.
That's awesome.
You've met Nick. We got two Nicks. Yep. So, PA Michigander.
Yeah.
We went to his house. His parents graciously hosted us.
Awesome.
On the lake, which was fantastic.
Hell yeah. Which lake was it?
Couldn't tell you if you asked me. It wasn't a great lake, a little smaller one.
Oh, really? So it wasn't a Great Lake.
But it was the house that Nick grew up in. He grew up on a lake. I didn't realize that.
Oh, cool.
Super, super gracious host. Had a great time. And then Jason, who lives in Michigan too.
Other Jason, yeah.
He rented us an Airbnb. It was like 1 block over from their house.
Really? Okay.
So it takes like a 3-minute walk.
Yeah.
But anyway, up there we got to see some breweries. We went to Holmes in Ann Arbor.
Love Holmes.
Coming back through, we went to Dark Horse.
Okay.
They're between,
I've never been there.
I hadn't either. They're between Ann Arbor and back to Battle Creek, where we were going to, where Nick's house was.
Right.
But something I didn't really realize about Dark Horse. Remember they used to have the TV show? Do you remember that when there was a brother, a son, a dad, some employees are all like screwing around. It was on Discovery
like
or something.
Sitcom?
No, it was like a weekly. Well, I guess kind of.
You're saying the brewery had a TV show?
I think it was called Dark Horse Brewing, something like that.
No, I've never heard
Aaron was the son's name. Actually, when I tagged him on our Instagram story, he gave me a follow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he also sold the company.
But he's also not there, so it's a moot point.
There's a place called Doak. I think it's called DOAK. They bought it. I guess they're a brewery too. Okay. I guess they got into a lot of financial trouble up that way. Heard some rumors.
Okay.
But they had to sell it. His dad had passed away.
Okay, that's
maybe got into some other substances,
Right.
But anyway, cool to see it and to see the history there. I mean, they're mug club members of just mugs hanging inside everywhere.
Really?
All these posters of all the events they've done in the past.
Yeah.
Very cool to see. And a lot of the guys up there with us had been to those events. Telling us, they were there, so they were telling us kind of how it went down.
That's fun. Yeah.
But that was the sideshow. Then we got to Michigan to actually get Battle Creek or wherever it was. Just 2 days of a lot of beer, a lot of bourbon, a lot of good guys and girls hanging out, and don't remember everything, but it was fun.
Dude, I love doing stuff like that. It's just I can go 3 days, I can go hard, but day 4 I'm like, can I get some Advil and go bed?
I did good. I went good for 2 days, but that like Sunday when I got home, I was fine until I got home Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, it's just like...
I'm too old for that. I can't do it.
Like you said, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah. But very fun. Got to meet a lot of guys, see a lot of people I hadn't seen before or in a while. Yeah, what about you? You been anything else?
No, man. Just dealing with this headache that I've had for the past 30 minutes. That's pretty much
called me.
It. Yeah. Get my little girl integrated into Fight Club, which I think I might start doing Fight Club. It's
you should.
cool.
Don't talk about it, though.
Yeah, but that's the number one rule. Besides that, man, no, it's just been low key, and I've been doing research on some stuff that you're getting ready to talk about. I can't wait to talk about. We got our new glassware. We're getting
we
ready
do.
to use. Yeah.
And a new audio setup, second episode.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
hopefully this works.
when I was up there, one of our friends, Nick, who actually proxies for all of us here for our standard meadery membership, good friend in Chicago area, laid some beers on me. Couldn't go to an event and not get some beers given to you. So one of these is called this one. It's Barrel Aged Seismic Overlay.
Okay.
It's from a brewery that I've heard of, but never really had much from, called Whiskey Hill. They actually won FOBAB Gold in 2021.
FOBAB being the Festival of Barrel Aged Beers in Chicago.
Correct. So they won a gold for this beer. Actually, they won a gold in 2020. I apologize, for specialty strong porter stout for this beer.
Okay.
Then they won second overall for this beer in 2020.
Really? That's a big deal.
It was.
Okay.
So I'm excited to try it. I mean, this is of course 2024.
Right.
So 4 years in the future.
Is this the
This is the beer.
vintage from that year?
No. This is a new vintage.
Gotcha,
New
okay.
vintage. Rate's really high though, so it averages a 4.67 on Untapped.
I'm gonna fiddle with this top while you talk.
Only 485 ratings. This one is a Russian Imperial Stout.
Okay.
Aged in Weller and Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels.
Okay.
Then coconut, vanilla, cocoa nibs, and pecans are added.
Sounds like cake.
Sounds like diabetes. Sounds like it's got a few calories in there. But, looking at secondary on this one and stuff, so cost, I don't know, Nick gifted it to me, so I'm going to guess and say between $25 and $40.
Okay.
It's a 500 mil, $375. Secondary, after they hit that FOBAB Gold in 2021, these were up, the balls they released them went up to $200 or $300.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
So it had a lot of hype.
So this
behind it,
actually
too.
has some
It does.
some secondary backing on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe not this vintage, but it's also 4 years past.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about the brewery, which I hadn't heard much from. So, Whiskey Hill Brewing. They actually started in 2013, but their name was Urban Legend Brewing Company.
Urban Legend.
Urban Legend.
No, I've not heard that. I was thinking of Urban.
You might
Chestnut.
have, because in 2016, they had to change their name.
Did they? Okay.
There was a trademark conflict with a California winery.
Oh gosh.
So it's possible
okay.
you've heard of it.
And you know what? I bet you that stuff happens all the time.
I'd say it is. I mean, you got to do a lot of research, right, to make sure there's no names out there the same as yours.
Especially if you're like going with, I mean, a name where you're just, it's so general. Like Urban Legend's a pretty general name, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that's actually hard to trademark. I mean, Urban Legend's like a story.
Right, exactly. It's also a movie, right?
Yeah, I think.
So yeah, maybe,
probably more than one.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they could have like given him a C&D, but yeah, but I'd say you go like, I'm going to name my brewery Tom.
You could.
You know,
you could
but
do
there's
that.
probably somebody that has that trademark. You know, he's like, I'm Tom, guys. You
Yeah.
can't name it after me. So yes, I think you got to get a little more creative.
So not only did that happen to them in 2016, also they had a rebrand in 2016 to Myths and Legends. So they went from Urban Legend Brewing Company to then Myths and Legends.
Did they get another cease and desist?
No, but now they went to Whiskey Hill. So
Okay.
they've sold ownerships. They've changed ownerships at this time.
Okay.
So Whiskey Hill, why Whiskey Hill? Shortly after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871,
Okay.
a man named William L. Gregg arrived in the area, which was Westmont, Illinois.
Okay.
It is south of Elmhurst, which is like Phase 3 Standard Moore area. So it's close to
That's
those.
Chicago. That's Chicago area.
That is,
Greater Chicago area.
let's see, I think Chicago's here west of Chicago or maybe southwest.
Okay.
That's probably wrong.
I'm sure you're dead on. I'm
So
sure you're
it's-
dead on
I've never
accurate.
been wrong before. So anyway, Mr. Gregg built the Excelsior Brick Company, one of the largest
Brick company.
brick company.
Okay.
Excelsior, or like where have you heard that? Isn't
That's Stan
isn't
Lee's
that's what I was
trademark,
thinking.
yeah.
So it makes me think like maybe there's a little bit of this jazzed up a little bit,
Yeah,
this
maybe a bunch
backstory.
of comic book
But
nerds or
whatever.
something, yeah.
So he built the first this brick company, one of the largest brick companies, and they rebuilt Chicago with their bricks.
Okay.
Not all of them, but they had to use some other bricks, I'm sure.
Right.
Greg also built his house of brick, like the three
Little
pigs,
pigs.
bottom of the hill, just south of the railroad tracks.
Okay.
After he passed away, house was sold, blah, blah, blah. The owners, the Rittmeyer family, bought it.
Okay.
Okay, so after he passed away, he was a former science teacher turned businessman with a creative side. His wife was a homemaker with a passion for cooking.
Okay.
Long story. Now,
We'll get there.
now they opened a restaurant. The Rittmeyers opened a restaurant, turned it into a speakeasy during Prohibition.
That's cool as hell.
That was famous people visited, even Al Capone.
Al Capone.
Al Capone.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
Whiskey
my God.
Hill is a
Sorry, I just tasted it. Yeah, keep going.
You're good.
Let me not interject.
So Mr. Rittmeyer was known to distill his own whiskey and had learned to also make beer. People called the area Whiskey Hill as beer and liquor continued to flow during Prohibition.
Okay.
And Whiskey Hill now is a brewery and a kitchen.
So is this is the same location as the speakeasy during
Correct.
Prohibition?
That's why it's called Whiskey Hill. I guess the long story there is they're going back to Whiskey Hill, thinking that's what people called this area.
Yeah.
Where that house was coming down the hill back in that day, because they had changed it from a restaurant.
But it's
to
not
a
the same
speakeasy.
building.
Well, I think it's in the same location. The way
Same
I took
area,
it.
but like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I'm sure it's been torn down.
Right,
A house
yeah, it
back
has to
then
be.
was probably 25 feet by 30 feet. I don't know.
yeah, made of like sheets of like log wood that were like just like ripped down the middle.
The front was brick and the other side was just wood, little slats.
It's like
just
paper
laying
mache.
there. Yeah, that's fine.
It was like cow dung, just like plastered.
That's why the damn wolf could blow it down or whatever.
Yeah, it's only brick on the front. Yeah, it's brick like our backdrops. It's like a painting of brick.
Those are real. I swear.
Yeah, any wolves coming? This is real. I promise you.
I'm moving if a wolf comes in there. So, Matt, what do you got for us about one of the famous, what do you call it? Famous...
Gangsters, American
well, but
gangsters.
what if you frequent a place?
Patrons.
Famous patron.
There you go.
Yes.
That's vocabulary 101.
I'm learning shit.
Al Capone was apparently one of Whiskey Hill's patrons, and I guess he influenced them a little bit.
I've heard of him.
Al Capone was born on January 17th in Brooklyn in 1899, so right before the turn of the century. He was an Italian immigrant. As early as 14, he got expelled from school for hitting a teacher.
Shocker.
So this was like the beginning of the end, or the beginning of the beginning.
I feel like
guess.
all I've heard of him is how well he controlled his temper. That's what
Right. Yeah, he never did anything wrong.
He probably just got,
Yeah, but that was like
stereotyped.
at 14, he was done with school. He got expelled, and he's like, "No, that's it for me." He did kind of odd jobs here and there to make ends meet, and then he immediately joined petty crime street gangs. One of them was called the James Street Boys. This sounds like something from like West Side Story.
It does.
Yeah, and then the other one was the 5 Points Gang.
I think that was Gangs of New York.
Right, yeah, it's like,
yeah.
I don't know what kind of gang you have that you have to put the word gang in your title because you want people to know that you're a gang, but it's very on the nose, you know what I mean? Like, we are the hard men gang.
Yeah, for sure. Hell's
that sounds
Angels
creepy.
or
yeah,
the
exactly.
gang.
But the 5 Points Gang is where he got introduced from a guy named Johnny Torrio.
Do you think they taught him, was it the 5-finger death punch from
the 5 Points Gang?
Yeah, maybe.
These are 5 points, yeah.
Could have been.
That's
We're going to say that's true.
Facts are optional here, friends. The first time he was arrested was in 1919 for carrying a concealed weapon, which was a revolver. It was a gun. And then shortly after that, he moved to Chicago at the request of Johnny Torrio, who he met. And during Prohibition in 1920, those two guys got big into bootlegging. Johnny Torrio was like his boss.
Okay.
And he worked under him. He did like, he was like a bouncer, kind of worked clubs and stuff like that. But they were big into the bootleg trade. That's kind of like where he made his name.
In Boardwalk Empire, did you ever watch that on HBO?
Didn't. I heard it's amazing.
You should go back and watch that. Steve Buscemi's probably the main character in it.
Okay.
Plays a really good, his name's Nookie or Nicky or something. I think it's Nookie.
Okay.
But anyway, Al Capone's a character in it throughout, like parts of it.
Like the actual, like they say it's Al Capone? Or
Yeah,
I
call him Al. Like, I talk to him, stuff from Chicago, all this. I mean, you put two and two together with all that. All the guys that you would associate from that time are in it.
Yeah.
Now, how much is embellished, you don't know. But it's a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah, I heard it's
anyway,
amazing.
though, just listening to that, it lines up with how that is.
And that's the coolest thing about like some of this, this like fun history is that there's like, this is like a movie, like that happened in real life,
100%.
In 1925, his buddy Johnny Torrio was, somebody tried to kill him in an assassination attempt. So
Shocker.
he got injured. I know, like that ever happened.
Criminals
in
get
gangs.
to kill other criminals?
But he decided to retire, and he just handed everything over to Al Capone.
Damn.
So that was the rise of Al Capone. And in Chicago, he basically took over at that point.
Conspiracy. Maybe Capone tried to have him killed so he could take it over.
I didn't see that, but it's very possible.
That's what I heard.
You don't know. Well, and you know what the thing is the cops had a lot of trouble prosecuting him because they didn't have like everything. All the evidence they had was circumstantial. So apparently he was good at covering his tracks too.
Yeah, smart dude.
So
I think he got syphilis and died. But other than that, he
did.
Smart.
That's part of it. Yeah, he actually got syphilis, never treated it. He lived with it for like decades.
Probably not a great idea.
No, I'd say syphilis is one of the few things you want to get rid of if you have it, Some of the things he's known for, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which was on February 14, 1929. 7 members of the North Side Gang, which is another gang with gang in their name.
Because you know what's gang because they have gang in their name.
Because they got gang in their name. Yeah, if you just said North Side, it'd be like, oh,
Who's
it's
that?
a beautiful part of
Who's those
town.
guys?
Yeah. But there was a bunch of cops that lined them up against the wall, and then they shot them all to death. Turns out the cops were actually gunmen, and as cops in disguise, which is kind of crazy. In 1930, he became public enemy number 1, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think he might have been public enemy number 1 the longest.
I feel like that might be right too.
Because there's a few of them.
Well, see, I've not seen this movie in forever, but The Untouchables with Kevin Costner and those guys. I feel like maybe he was a character in that one, but I might be wrong.
I can't remember.
I feel like the Valentine's Day Massacre was in that or something around it.
I remember seeing that too, but I can't remember anything about it. It was a long time ago.
We're just making this up anyway.
I know, facts are optional. He was actually a really big philanthropist, which I thought was kind of cool. So
I think people actually really liked him. The
ones
he didn't kill.
Yeah, exactly right. The people that he let live loved him. But he gave back to the community. He opened up the first soup kitchen in Chicago. He fed unemployed people like 3 meals a day. He made tons of donations to charities and schools and hospitals. So it's just like the regular people thought he was basically like a Robin Hood kind of thing, but he was still a very violent and dangerous dude.
You see that a lot too. I mean, common thread. You look at what was the movie with Denzel in American Gangster?
Yeah.
It's like that, impoverished neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think it's Denzel. Yeah.
Well, like The Godfather.
Same thing.
Right.
I mean, the people loved those guys for what they did,
Exactly right.
Bronx Tale. There's been all kinds of different movies that were very
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digress.
No, but he, so like I said, the cops could not prosecute him because they didn't, all the evidence they had was circumstantial. So very famously, they got him on tax evasion.
Yep.
And he ended up, the reason
Pay your taxes.
taxes. The reason that they couldn't get him on any other charges primarily was because he would strong-arm witnesses.
Anybody testify, that's right.
Yeah, exactly right. So, which I guess that still happens, but I'm sure it was a lot more prevalent back then.
Oh, yeah. I say it still happens, but you're not. I mean, look at the difference in, evidence now, like the DNA and all the paper trails.
And it's so hard with, like, the internet being a thing and, like, so many...
Social media, there's cameras in every corner, multiple cameras.
Exactly right. It's
not that I've, noticed those when I've wanted to do something.
Those are all my cameras. I'm watching you. So he actually ended up serving 11 years, starting in 1931. He kept running his empire for like a few years from behind bars, so they had to transfer him to Alcatraz. Could you imagine getting put in Alcatraz for tax evasion?
No.
That's fucking hilarious, but I mean...
You're on an island you ain't getting off of.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think when he went there, it was basically the end of his story as far as like his influence. Like he couldn't reach his people from there. But then he started his protracted, decades-long battle with syphilis started to get the best of him once he was in Alcatraz, which I guess if you got syphilis for decades, that's the time you're going to go out is when you're in the most maximum security prison in the world.
So the takeaways I've got so far is pay your taxes, and take medicine for syphilis.
and treat syphilis people.
Yes.
Do people still get syphilis?
Honestly, don't know.
I mean, you don't even hear about it anymore. Yeah,
I heard of it.
I think you can just literally get a shot for that now.
Maybe there's a vaccine that you take when you're young.
There's like a salve, like a cream you can put on. But anyways, he ended up he got released from jail in 1939. He didn't serve his full sentence, but he was basically.
I think the reason he got released because he was such bad.
He got dementia. His brain was gone.
There's actually a movie about that too. I want to say it is Colin Farrell. Maybe plays him. But you can't.
Was Al Capone?
Yeah, you can't. I think it's Colin Farrell. I don't think you can tell that's Colin Farrell. There's so much makeup and stuff on him.
Really?
If I think of the name of it, I'll let you know. But it was pretty interesting from what I remember of it. I used to watch a lot of movies. Back to the beer though.
Yeah, go back to this beer. This is amazing.
The reason we're talking about Al Capone and stuff, he's the most famous person that visited this area where this brewery is now in Chicago. But again, This is Barrel Aged Seismic Overlay from Whiskey Hill Brewing. They've changed names three times. But this one's a Russian Imperial Stout aged in Weller and Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels with coconut, vanilla, cocoa nibs, pecans. When I hear that, I think super, super sweet, probably going to get muddled on the flavors. The barrel might not shine through. When I'm tasting it, the nose, I think it is all those things, like sweet little barrel. But the taste is actually really damn balanced. Like, dude, for all that.
They did a phenomenal job on this one. Like, there's nothing that really overpowers anything else.
No.
You get some of these cake beers, and it's just like all vanilla, and it like hits you like right on the back of your tongue, you know, where it like dries it out and makes it feel powdery, like you've been sucking on Skittles for a week.
Not that you've ever done that.
No, I've never done that.
Yeah, I agree. I think
this is very well balanced.
I think balanced is the perfect term. It's not too thick. It's not thin. Not too sweet.
But it is sweet.
It is sweet, and the flavors are all there. I can pick all of them out.
Yeah.
Even the pecans. I mean, it's weird. It's really weird.
Everybody gets a turn.
It's true. It's
You
true.
get a little bit of coconut, and then and pecans are like,
I wonder if they're each in a gang, like the coconut gang, the pecan gang. You know?
As long as they put gang in their name, so we know it's a gang.
Maybe like the seismic overlays, the overboss, you know, and it just like hoards them all together.
Yeah.
Like you guys just sit there. Either way, I mean, this is a good beer. I don't know what the ABV on it is, but
this is a great beer.
I'm going to guess and say...
you know what? I don't even want to know, but I'm going to guess it's probably 13.
I would say 11 and a half. It's 13.
There you go.
Yeah. Damn, you got something right. It's first time we've ever got anything right.
I keep playing that on repeat for this episode.
First time you ever got it right.
Not that part, my part.
But on this one, I mean, let's say it's, let's say $35. Let's say $30. It's not a side project.
I would do that all day.
I would too. I would buy several of these. Secondary on this, if I look at the beer secondary sites, which have really faded over the past few years, kind of sad too. I mean, you think about that. I don't love the secondary market, but it's a way to get things that you can't get easily.
Sure.
Even if you have to pay an upcharge, let's just say this beer was $30. I had to pay $70 to get shipped to me. Somebody would send it to me. Hell, I'd probably pay $50 to get shipped to me anyway. Like it'd be $15 label or something.
But in that vein, something like this that we know is good.
Yeah.
Now that I know that I want it, I would actually be a little miffed if I had to pay secondary price on this.
Agree.
Knowing that you can get it from the brewery. But I would go out of my way to find a proxy or talk to somebody and be like, hey, can you get me a couple of bottles that when it comes out? This is that good. I agree. And there's not a lot of beers that I do that for anymore.
I think this is better than any Bourbon County I've had in the past 4 years.
I do agree, but
yeah,
I'm not as high on Bourbon County as you are.
No, you're not. I mean, I've had this year's lineup. Have you seen it? It looks atrocious.
No, has it got rose hips?
Prop, it might be worse. Like it's like a barrel aged stout with a Mexican ashtray mixed in. Like I'm not even lying.
No, fuck.
Like I'm not even sure what they were thinking there. Yeah. But luckily, we know some Chicago guys.
Hell yeah!
Thank you, Nick, for this one. It was free.
Thanks,
I appreciate you, buddy. And honestly, I'd buy this all day at retail, and even double. I'd buy 1 or 2 a year.
Does this have so does this current iteration have a secondary value now?
The weird thing, looking at secondary groups in beer, they've slowed down so much. This doesn't even list. Like there's nobody's listed it. I bet people have just found a proxy or a friend up there. It's like shipped it to them.
And I'd be okay with it.
I looked at their Instagram too. Like this took us several days to sell out. Like this wasn't a 1 day sellout.
What I'm hearing you say is that we can get this.
Yeah, which is perfect, right?
Yeah.
I think it also shows you the luster fades, right? So in 2020, this might have been the hottest beer in 2020. You look back at that. Fobab, the Festival Barrel Aged Beers, a gold for one category, second overall, $300 secondary for a bottle.
I'm surprised they did Fobab in 2020. That was like the height of COVID.
That'd have been right before COVID, right?
Maybe.
I think it would have been.
But they always do it late in the year too. Well, I guess
maybe it was 19 and I pulled 20. I don't know, but that's what I looked up online.
Okay.
If you look back at this beer though, like history on it, it's kind of hard to find. But I think 2020 might have been the first year they did it.
Oh, really?
Could've been.
So that could be batch number 1.
And they do some variants on this. I think they do a rum barrel aged one. I don't know if that'd improve it.
I would like to try it.
I think it might make it too sweet. Is the rum in there?
I don't know. These guys know what they're doing, it seems like. So I give them the benefit.
I'd like to try some more stuff from them.
Hell yeah.
But glad to try it. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. For more Arsenic Culture. You can check us out on social media, Instagram,
TikTok,
I
Facebook,
want to say like
Twitter.
Twitter and Facebook, but we're
Twitter, X,
people
whatever
even
it's
get on
called.
Twitter anymore.
Well, I went back to Twitter and we've posted a few things. I think we've got 1 like out of 10 posts.
I
so
I
I'll
don't
say
even-
no.
I feel like Twitter is this fucking wasteland of it's like it's like the world of Mad Max. It's just like this post-apocalyptic wasteland where
It is.
everybody's just like trying to kill each other
There's not anything better than Twitter if you want up-to-date information or sports info.
or to like laugh at other people.
That's true. I think TikTok's good at that one.